Okay. Good afternoon, Sania and Subhashri. Okay, so today we'll start of course, this is your first class, and today we'll start the very basic thing about the NCERT because this is your science classes. So before than that, I really need to know what is the basic thing, what is the background. Of course, I'll cover from my pace. So can we little bit discuss what is the background of Sania yours and Subhashri yours? Can you guys tell me? You guys can connect me through the mic also. Please, you can do that. Unmute your mic and connect with me directly myself, voice also, except typing your message. Because both ways are open, but Tanya and Subhashri, what is your background? Yeah.
Ma'am, myself Sania, and
Okay.
I am from Rajasthan.
Okay.
Also, I pass out my 12th with art stream.
Okay. Subhashri?
Ma'am, I'm Subhashri. I'm from Tamil Nadu. I
Oh,
finished
nice.
MSc Mathematics, ma'am.
MS and mathematics. So you know a little bit about the science background, and Subhashri and Sanya, you are from the arts background. That's completely okay. Because before than that, I have taken the of course, NCERT science and separate science and tech batches separately, of course. And the student, I just assure that every kind of the student just understand that the basics of the science, you know. Because of that, this is your NCERT batch, okay? So we'll start the very basic thing, and this is the thing that you guys can ask me any question even in between. Just after the completing the question topic, I'll just ask you even you guys are getting the concept in that smooth way as I'm trying to make it simple. Okay, so we'll start the topic. So today, of course, NCERT science batch. So firstly, we'll complete the complete biology syllabus. Then we'll shift to the physics, and then we'll shift to the chemistry. Because the portion of the chemistry we do not, with respect to your UPSC syllabus, we do not need to go to the deep understanding concept of the chemistry, but yes, we have to know the basic things about the chemistry. Okay, but biology constitute the major portion in your science portion, right? Of course, this is not your tech portion, so we'll not go into that physics or the technological portion. Even in that, biology constitute your major portion. Okay, so we'll start with that basic biology process, you know. So if I'll ask, what is the simple biology? Bio means organism and logy means study, of course, है ना? So before then that organism and everything, anything you think about before considering the biology, what you think about the how the organism is living or non-living. These are the basically two concepts we need to think about, है ना? So this is the one of the two concepts like living and non-living, and the second concept is the organism. Like how this most complicated organism formed, we see as surrounding ourselves. There's so many types of organism has been found, right? So many organism have been found, such as we see the bacteria. They are the very simple form, right? Can grow anywhere. Then we see the plants, right? Then we see the some of the organisms such as your fungi, right? Then we also see the animals, right? Even in the animals category, we see the fishes, right? Then we see the reptiles, right? Then we see the human, of course, human. Then in between that, because human is the most complicated and most stable species, you know. Then we talk about that. Except the human, we talk about animals that such as your aquatic animals, you know, the animals living in your water, and apes, primates, and so many things. So we can see that so many level of complications. Suppose if you see the bacteria, this is a simple thing. If you see the human, that has a very complicated. If you see the plant, that has a more complication. So to understand that, we need to think like how this, and biology will cover, when we cover the basic organization, we'll not only cover how these things are forming, we also try to link with the evolution, you know? And accordingly we will cover like how the evolution is actually evolving or involving in the complication of organism. Got it? So before starting that so there was so many scientist community, right? So many scientist community out there. So what they think that all the organism, first of all, what they have done, the scientist community have done, that all the living organisms all the living organisms have classified under two categories. Okay, what are the two categories? Basically, if even I'll ask you, you'll say, ma'am, दो type की living हमने देखे, या तो animals देखे या तो plants देखे, right? So they have classified two categorization. They have classified the first, the plants, and second, the animals, of course. So if you see the animals, such as animals body or the plant body are made up of different types of cells, such as if we talk about the blood has a different kind of cells. Then if we talk about the skin, right? So skin has a different kind of cells. Then we talk about the neuron, the basis of the unit in which the human brain works, that has a different kinds of unit. So then they said, okay, both are these are multicellular organism. Of course, I'll talk about the multicellularity. Do not get confused. Okay, multicellular. That means before making the concept clear, first we need to know that basic unit is a cell. Cell is simple like that. You know, such as if you say this is your hand. So your hand is made up of types of cells that is known as epithelial cells. Okay, don't worry, I'll explain it gradually. Everything. I'm just trying to say that. Suppose that if you see everyone has seen the leaf, everyone has seen the flowers. Okay, so if you see the flowers is a complicated organ of the plant, है ना? So if you see the flower, it has a different kind of leaves, it has a different kinds of petals, and it has a different kind of male and female organ, right? So but if we study the units, how this petals, how this female and male sexual organism, how the roots, how the shoots are forming, तो हम इसको जब बिल्कुल basic unit पे फिर try to cover, we'll see that actually they are made up of a single cell. Okay, the basic unit of living organism or the any organism is called as a cell. Okay, so similar type of cell. So agar koi organism is made up of only single cell, so what we'll say, this is a unicellular. Okay, so cells kya karti hain, combine hoke the similar types of cell combine. Okay, this is a cell, the similar type of cell combine and perform a specific kind of function, right? So when they perform a specific kind of function, they called the tissues. Okay, such as if we see the blood, so we have heard about the blood. Okay, we can relate like that. Okay, so we have heard about the blood, right? So blood has a RBC. Everyone has heard about it. RBC, हम सबने सुना है RBC and WBC, right? So what is the full form of RBC? The full form of RBC is the red blood and cells. So can we say that blood is one kind of organ which is actually made up of, or the tissue, whatever you want to say, it is made up of the multiple number of the red blood cells, right? So from here we can say the basic unit is your cell. The similar kind of cell, okay, similar kind of cells. Don't worry, I'll dictate it separately. I'm trying to make the concept very easy for you guys, and after that we'll make the notes also. Don't worry about it. Okay, similar kinds of cell with same function, with same functions are called tissues. Okay, such as if we talk about the brain. Okay, so what is the basic unit? Everyone has heard about neurons, like if we talk about the epithelial cell, it has this structure, and if we talk about the brain cell, it is of this structure. So can we see the difference between the both? Yes, of course we can see. This has a different, neuron cells is not having the function of the epithelial cell, and epithelial cell, skin cell, or better say that, or blood cell. Blood cell, if you see the blood cell structure is also like that. So blood cell cannot perform the neuron function, and neuron function cannot perform the blood function, right? So can we say that similar types of cell combine and form the tissue, such as your brain tissues and your skin tissues, right? Different kinds of tissues. the tissues are forming the organs. The tissues are forming the organs, such as you guys must have heard that which is the largest organ in our body. Everyone please answer it. Which is the largest organ in our body? Ashutosh. Okay, you are new one here. So your background is from
skin.
the... Yes, very good, Sanya. Okay. So Ashutosh, what's your background? Like you have done your inter or graduation from like science or non-science background?
Ma'am, I am doing graduation in humanities as BA Political Science Honors
Okay, okay. It's completely fine. Okay. So
because I am
yeah.
suffering from medical issue. That's why I switched from science to art.
Oh, it's completely fine. No issues. Okay. So I'm just trying to say whenever there will be the confusion, just ask me that. And after completing the topic, I'll just give you the time or the area to ask the question. No issues. Okay. Okay. So Sanya, you have answered the skin, right? So can we say that the skin is the organ is made up of the epithelial tissues such as your outer skin? You can see that is made up of tissues, and that tissue is made up of the epithelial cell. Got it? We can say that, right? And after the organs there is a formation of the complete body or organism यहाँ पे नहीं कहते, ठीक है? So can we say that such as your human example? ठीक है, समझ आ गया? So earlier क्या था, when the topic has been started, okay, when the topic has been started about the living organism, so earlier scientists were used to say that okay, there are mainly all the living organisms can be classified either into the plants, because of course they are static, they do have different kind of mechanism than the human, than the animal, okay. But what happened, of course more studies has been done, right? More studies have been done. So then it came the two level of system, then it came the three level of system, okay. So there's a one more thing. What is the three level of system? Then they said okay, there is a one more thing that is called the prokaryotes, and the second thing is eukaryotes. First of all, what is prokaryotes and what is eukaryotes? Okay. So when we cover the science portion, we do not do the ratification, because science is not about the ratification. If related concept even if it will come into the examination, we can what we can do, we can just decipher the word, है ना? And we got this knowledge, got this information. Okay. So what is the difference between both? The word is pro and the you, है ना? That is the difference between the prokaryote and eukaryote. So you means होता है हमेशा true. ओके, यू का सिंपल मीनिंग इन एनी सेंस है ना, आपका यू का द मीनिंग ऑफ द यू इज ट्रू, ओके. एंड प्रो का मतलब क्या होता है, लाइक प्रो है, ठीक है, दैट मीन्स इज समथिंग ओरिजिनेटेड इन अ वेरी इनिशियली, प्री से बना है प्रो. तो व्हेनेवर वी यूज द प्रो, दैट मीन्स समथिंग ओरिजिन और इन द रिस्पेक्ट ऑफ द ओरिजिन, दैट्स अ वेरी अर्लियर, ओके. तो ये कॉन्सेप्ट समझ आ गया ऑर्गेनिज्म वाला, ठीक है. दूसरा कॉन्सेप्ट समझते हैं, what is a prokaryote and what is a eukaryote. This is actually your first class now, so it is a kind of orientation, but jitna tha I think puch liya, basic science we can start, don't worry, okay. So what is the prokaryotes and what is the eukaryotes? Okay, before than that, इस वाले कॉन्सेप्ट में किसी को कोई डाउट है? एनीवन हैज एनी काइंड ऑफ डाउट इन दिस टॉपिक? व्हाट इज सेल, व्हाट इज टिश्यूज, व्हाट इज स्किन एंड व्हाट इज ये फॉर्मेशन ऑफ और द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, दिस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इज एनी काइंड ऑफ डाउट? एनीवन? यस, एनी डाउट इन द सेल, टिश्यूज, बॉडी? अभी
No,
ये
ma'am.
जानिए. Thank you, Ashutosh. Sanya and Shubhashri, you guys also tell me, is there any kind of doubt?
No, ma'am. Ma'am, I just want to ask one thing, that these tissues are collectively called organs?
Yes, tissues are forming the organ. Tissues are forming the organ. So, Shubhashri, बेटा आपको कोई डाउट है?
What is epithelial cell, ma'am, as you said?
What repeat it again?
What's epiotic, sir?
Epi, where I have mentioned what you are asking, be more specific, no, in the first or the second or the third slide.
Not in slide, ma'am. You said
What did I say?
Ma'am, I think she's telling epithelial.
अच्छा epithelial, okay fine Shubhashri, actually na jo epithelial, the word is epithelial. I think you are asking about this. Okay, I'm so sorry, I didn't get your question. So epithelial is a type of cell, it's a type of tissues. Epi matlab hota hai upper, है ना. We'll cover when we cover the physiology portion na, we'll cover about it. ऐसे पूछ लेना है. तो epi मतलब is a type of, जैसे हम लोग type of organ बोलते हैं, जैसे blood, जैसे कि आपका न्यूरॉन है ना, जैसे
ma'am,
these are
I
type
did
of
not know Hindi, ma'am.
Okay, sorry, okay fine, I'll do that in English. Okay, so just like we let's say that different types of organs, just like your blood, your tissues, sorry, your blood, your neurons, your intestine, right? So these kind of organ we name it, right? The different types of organ we name the different naming. Similarly, the different types of tissues also name as or the different types of cells named as a different types of naming, such as your epithelial, mesothelial, endothelial. So this is a type of tissues. Got it? It's a name. Don't worry, we'll cover in the physiology portion separately. Actually, epithelial tissues is present on your upper layer of skin. The portion of the skin which we can see, right? That is your epithelial tissues or epithelial cells, whatever you want to say. Got it?
Okay, ma'am. That.
Okay, sure. So now we'll cover about the types of, like, what is the meaning of the prokaryotes and the eukaryotes. Okay, so during that evolution, everyone know what is the evolution, right? Evolution of life on the earth. So we have heard this concept that during the evolution, when the life has been formed, about the Big Bang theory and so on, right? So what happened? What the Big Bang theory says that Earth was a fiery ball. It is a part of the sun, because all of the planets, there's multiple stars in the universe. Sun is one of them, and because of this 8 abhi to gaye. So these 8 planets surrounding the sun only, because these are made of like part of the sun. These kind of theory we have heard about, right? So we know that Earth is one of the planet where the life is actually existing, because we are human and we say this is a life. Maybe of course planet and all everything. We will not go into that geography discussion or the so-called science questions. Okay. So as during the formation of Earth, so what happened? We have heard about that Earth was a fiery ball, of course. So when there is a fiery ball, the life cannot exist, right? So when there was a fiery ball, so gradually what happened? We have heard about this concept, even if we do not just relate like that. So when the Earth has formed, it has mainly two things. The one is your land part, that is called as Pangea. That was your land part. Okay, and the another thing was your sea part. Okay, that was called as the Panthalsa. That, don't worry if you're not getting this, because this is your geography portion. I'm just trying to relate with the earth formation, relating with the life organism formation. Okay, so fine. So Panthalsa is your oceanic part. So Panthalsa is your oceanic part. Got it? So what happened earlier? The oxygen was not present in its individual form. Okay, but water or the oceanic water is present. That is one of the difference between the, okay, so this is your oceanic part, this is your marine water or the salt water form. So earlier there was not a fresh water. Okay, so what happened? Everyone know the concept of the precipitation, right? What happened in the precipitation? Even you can see in your kitchen also. So when you give the heat to the water, what happened? Water get evaporated in the form of evaporation, in the form of the gaseous form, right? And that just collect, if you just cover the lid and if you boil the water, so what will happen? That lid will have the condensation of this evaporation, है ना? So after some time, when you just switch off your gas and in the form of the energy, what will happen? This condensed gaseous form it will just collect again in the form of the liquid, right? This is a precipitation, everyone knows that. So can we say that, of course, precipitation, that means the rain formation. Got it? Of course we know that itna. So what is, so how the yahan pe living, like abhi yahan pe there is not any kind of living organism has been formed, not at any. Okay, so gradually what will happen, up there are so many theories about the how the life or the organism has been formed. Okay, so what happened, yahan pe kya tha, there was already water, there's already water, and the earth was a fiery ball. So can we say that that evaporation process was occurring there? Evaporation process was occurring there, and even in this scenario, when we talk about the monsoon and all, है ना, so we talk about the southwest monsoon winds come from there, and the precipitation occurs, है ना. This is also one of the reason that coastal areas can generally have a, you know, almost equal type equal type of temperature throughout the year, है ना, because there was a rainy always, है ना. So what was happened with the process of the heat, this oceanic water become evaporated and form the cloud like situation, and that just come in the form of the precipitation and form the fresh water form. Yahan pe we will not go into that Pangea. So there were multiple continent form, है ना, ये अभी we will not talk about that. Okay, so यहाँ पे अभी क्या हो गया, fresh water हो गया. So there were so many theories about the life, how the life formed, so many theories about the how the life formed. Okay, so one of the theory was ki everyone must have heard about it, that Shraddha Manu, है ना, then Adam Eve. So one of the theory was a religious theory, one of the theory was sudden explosion theory, and so on. Like everything was just washed up, only Shraddha and Manu was there, everything was just washed up, only Adam and Eve was there, so many things. That will be the religious. So of course that does not have any kind of proof. Okay, so because we are covering the science, and science is a factual thing, so the one of the theory was, it was a most accepted theory. So this was a theory about chemical evolution theory, chemical basis of evolution theory, chemical basis of evolution. This is the most accepted theory because it is based on the science facts. Okay, what does this theory says? Actually, even if we talk about the human, just try to relate like that. So if we talk about the human, that human is made up of so many types of different chemicals, isn't it? So can we see that, like if we talk about okay, so whatever we intake, that actually constitute or form the human body or the animal body, right? Such as you say that protein is a building block of the person, right? We say that. So if we saying that, or protein, where we getting the protein from the other animal or plants. So our actually body is made up of mainly 4 things, that is the protein, carbohydrates, lipids and nucleic acid. Lipids and nucleic acid, right? These are just names, these are nothing more than that. But if we will just break this part, so everything is ultimately made up of CH and O, that is your carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, majorly, not entirely, but majorly. Can we say that, like carbon, that's why this you can also read it like that. So what is a fossil fuel? Okay, what is the coal, what is the petroleum, है ना? These things are formed because earlier, so many years ago, the living organism or the dead organism has been, you know, subsumed as a, they just become, and they are forming after millions of years of the time, they forming the coal, they forming the, and what happens when you burn the fossil fuel? So what is the one of the major gases eliminate there? So one of the major gas is your CO2, CH4 and so many things. So can we say that everything is ultimately made up of the chemistry, that is your carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, or more than that, nitrogen, sulfur, right? So because of that, chemical basis of evolution theory was most accepted. What this theory has said, this theory has said that every or the first of course every, so the first living organism has been found in the oceanic water, and that particular organism has a simplest kind of cell. simplest kind of cell. Okay, got it? Okay, and that cell is actually made up of chemistry or the chemical, that is C, H and O, etc. These are the major things, and hydrogen is one of the major things. So first you guys tell me why we are saying that oceanic water, why we are not saying the fresh water. Okay, what is the difference between the oceanic water and the fresh water?
Ma'am, the oceanic water contains salt.
Okay, and fresh water does not contain that amount of salt, right? So first of all, the thing is that earlier the fresh water is not even there, you know. So oceanic water is there, and what is the other thing? So when we are saying that oceanic water contains salt, so ultimately this salt also have some kind of chemistry or the chemical. What is the basic formula of salt? NaCl. Generally we take in the form of the salt, like namak. Everyone has heard that. Everyone just use that, right? So what is the formula of salt? Basic salt, of course, NaCl, and the other types of salt, MgCl2, CaCl2, and so many things. But these salt composition, that means these specific type of chemicals do not found in the fresh water. So can we say that oceanic water favors the formation of some specific kind of cell, but not comparatively the fresh water? Can we say that? Huh? Of course, because it has a salt,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
everything is, yeah, okay, nice. And everything is about the chemistry. Every single thing in the whole world, even if you are seeing this podium, right? So this podium is actually was a part of earlier. It is a wood, right? So if I'll just burn this, okay? If I'll just burn this a single piece like that. So what will be the major constituent will form? It will forming the methane, you know, that is something the global warming we talk about. It will forming the carbon monoxide, it will forming the carbon dioxide. Think like that, ki where the carbon dioxide, the carbon monoxide, or even we say that acid rain we say that acid rain is one of the concept of the pollution. You know, acid rain is actually mainly about the HNO3 and H2SO4, right? So here, if we talk, and acid rain is a concept about the fossil fuel burning. So where this is all coming from? Because when this podium was a part of the living tree or the wood, you know, that means this tree is also constituting that nitrogen, carbon dioxide, and the sulfur, oxygen, so many things, right? So that is why the chemical basis of evolution theory has been accepted broadly or majorly. Okay, still some of the scientists, है ना, some of the religion concept used to, और अभी भी even in this time various people are just blind with the religion thing. I'm not the anti-religious person, let me clear it like that. I'm not anti-religious person, but if science is giving you proof, when the science is not giving proof, of course accept that. I'm not saying that, but if the science is giving proof, why you are not accepting it, है ना? चलो, तो इन्हीं पे there was a scientist, है ना, the other scientist was like I say, no, this is not true, this is something about the religion and this and that. So what happened? There's a scientist, there's actually two scientists. The one name is Stanley and the other name is Miller. Separately, not the simultaneously, है ना, separately has done an experiment. What he had done, so of course we must have heard so many things. So what he had done, he just prepared a flask. My drawing is a little bit bad, sorry for that. Okay. So no, it's not that bad. So he just prepared the flask. What he kept, if you want to prove something, you create the similar kind of situation again, right? In the court judges, we generally see that. So what he does, he just kept the oceanic water. He just prepared the oceanic water. Okay, he given the heat, because earlier the earth was a fiery ball, so he has given the heat to boil the oceanic water temperature, right? And he has prepared the whole setup, है ना, यहाँ पे आपका था, there was a water vapor system, you know, switch on switch off करके, like whatever the content. And in that scenario, so this is your one of the question, that's how you connect everything, right? So this is one of your question of the PYQ. If you'll see that which one of the following gas was not present in the earlier environment, even the life was there. Which one? So what the Stanley Miller experiment, actually this experiment is known as the Stanley Miller experiment. So what he has done, he has almost, not almost, but entirely tried to make that formation up. We cannot go to the back in the history now. We cannot go there to prove that. So we can just prove it like making an experiment. Sorry. So what he has done, he has provided the CH4, methane, the water vapor, then the water, hydrogen, like some of the gases which was present earlier to form the specific kind of life. He has created the whole experiment, and he has seen what they have seen. They have seen a kind of cell has been formed, Hannah. The kind of cell has been formed in that scenario, in that jar, in that beaker, that has the self dividing capacity. That's how the one cell is forming the multiple cell, right? Think like that. If the earlier there was a one cell, anyhow it just formed. How it is forming the multiple cell? Only if it will have the dividing capacity, right? So that's how the single unicellular cell organism has been formed. Got it? So this theory has been proven by the chemical basis of theory has been proven by the Stanley and Miller, and so many things. So actually we were covering about the prokaryotes and the eukaryotes. Okay, so that is a, so when the first cell which was formed, it was called the prokaryotes. Even the oxygen was not there, they were still the prokaryotic, the single cellular organism has the ability to survive even in the absence of oxygen. So can we say that like suppose that if we say, like suppose that in that room, where we are sitting, suppose that if I'll say that oxygen after some time the oxygen concentration will become zero, can we survive here 3 to 4 days, or maybe any like longer period? No, because oxygen is basically important not only for the respiration, because it does so many things in our body, so many chemical reaction will it done in our body. Will cover in that physiology, don't worry. I'm sure most of the students you have this kind of doubt ki what are the process. Even if you'll cover right now, you'll get confused. That way we are not covering. Okay, so of course we know that oxygen is one of the things which is important for survival. But ma'am, there are some of the organism you are saying that oxygen was not present, still they were surviving. So that is the thing about the bacteria, right? So when we talk about the bacteria, we talk about the bacteria are cosmopolitan. Yes, even in the current scenario, some of the bacteria, some of the area where the oxygen is not present, that means no life can exist, but bacteria can exist. Got it? That's why the bacteria are known as a cosmopolitan. That means, what is the meaning of the cosmos? Nobody will write in that note. Yeah, just understand the concept, because today is the first class. Just understand the concept only. So cosmopolitan means can survive everywhere, or can survive or exist everywhere. So as the first cell was formed, it was the simplest kind of cell. It was known as a prokaryote. Gradually what happened, the freshwater precipitation, because of that precipitation activity of the oceanic water, the fresh water started forming. So environment has more concentration of oxygen now. So gradually what happened, the most simplest type of cell, the most simplest type of cell, as the external environment was changing. Ashutosh, do you want to ask anything, bacha? No issues. So as the external environments were changing, what are the external environment were changing? So we must have heard about the ice age and so many things. So external environment, like that means your temperature, your precipitation, your gaseous concentration, right? So accordingly, the types of cell were also changing. So now the simplest types of cell become more complicated, right? So now it is having the nucleus, now it is having the mitochondria, now it is having the endoplasmic reticulum, now it is having the Golgi bodies, now it is having the chloroplast, and so many different types of organs or the small things started forming, because to form that specific kind of organs in the cell, isko bolte hain cell organelle. We'll cover in that cytology portion. You must have heard about the ribosome, mitochondria, and a chloroplast. You must have nucleus where your DNA, RNA exists, right? We must have heard about it. So as our outer environment was changing, internal cells become also get complicated. Got it? Okay. So this is the complicated cell is known as eukaryotes. So now we got the concept. What is the difference between the prokaryotes and the eukaryotes? Students, Tanya, Subhashri, and Ashutosh, do we get this concept? Just tell me what is the difference between the prokaryotes and the difference of the eukaryotes. So can we say that we know the basic concept? Subhashri?
Prokaryote is a single cell, ma'am.
Okay, prokaryote is the simplest and the earliest form cell, right? And Sanya?
And the eukaryote cells have nucleus and other organelles like mitochondria.
Good, very good. Subhashri, you were saying something. Tell me.
Prokaryote is able to live when no life can exist.
Wow, very good, nice. Ashutosh, we got the concept difference between the prokaryotes and the eukaryotes, right? Okay. So again, even at that position, yes, this cell has the dividing capacity. Okay, so there are the terms known as unicellular, okay, and the multicellular, or better say the multicellular. In what way you can pronunciate you want to, right? So unicellular are those organisms. Have do we know any name of the bacteria? Any bacterial name? Any bacterial name? Can we know that? Can we tell that? Subhashri and everyone, just tell me any bacterial name. So many bacteria's disease also there, right? Tell me any bacterial name. Even one of the bacteria found in our body also. Yeah, of course. That's not a problematic, of course. That's why we take the probiotics. Probiotics, have we heard about that? Some of the bacteria have been helping in the digestion. Yes, even we must have heard about this. When we talk about the good bacteria, of course, we'll talk about in the notes also. So we have heard that some of the animals' gut system do have this bacteria, help in the digestion of the specific cellulose. Right? Yeah. Shubhashri and Sanya and Ashutosh, tell me any name of the bacteria.
Ma'am, Salmonella.
Good.
The one which causes food poisoning.
Yeah, very nice. Salmonella. Salmonella, the full form is typhi. Salmonella typhi is one of the bacteria. It's, of course, Salmonella is one other species also. There are so many species of the one bacteria. It is causing the typhoid. Typhoid, have you heard about? One of the very common disease is your TB. Mycobacterium tuberculosis. This is the name of the TB bacteria. And that is, if you see, if of course not you, when the scientists see, when the researchers see the shape, of course, to cure the thing, first we need to know that what the organism is, right? So when we studied that, okay, still this is the only one cell. Suppose that if we talk about human, if we talk about the plant, if we talk about the animal, other animals, so we can see that multiple types of cell there. The eyes are different, the bloods are different, the neurons are different, then kidneys are different, right? Different types of cells the human has, because human is the most complicated stable organism on this planet, at least, right? So, but the studies, when the studies have been done about this type of bacteria, so still they found this is a one cell only. The single cell is performing so much diseases in the body, right? So this is called the unicellular organism. What is a unicellular organism? If the definition would be those organisms in which all the type of body necessary function, yeah, all the necessary function of the body perform within a single cell. Got it? Okay. So this is called the like if we talk about us, so if we talk about that kidney has a specific function, then your stomach has a specific function, blood has, so we cannot say that human or the plant, like plant root has a different system, shoots has a different system, then flower, then leaves, and this and that. So these are the multicellular, like the body is made up of the multiple cell, but the unicellular organism are those organisms in which all the like of course we have the respiratory system, we have the digestive system, we have the excretory system, and we have different types of cell for that, right? But what happened in the unicellular organism, all the respiration, digestion, excretion, and every kind of things perform in the single cell. Got it? This is the unicellularity or the unicellular organism. So as the external environment, but they are not very longer span of time. इनकी जो the lifetime period was very short. Okay, of course the external environment was changing, so gradually they just do not become only the simple to complicated, but also now what happened, the so many types of similar cells start collecting, है ना? And they are forming the tissue level system. The first they are forming the tissue level system, then second they become more complicated now, so they are forming the organ level of system. But now they are the multicellular organism. What is multicellular organism? Those organisms in which there are more than one number of cells are there, more than one number of cells are involved in the formation of the body or the organ having a specific kind of function. Got it? So what is the difference between the tissue and the organ? So have we seen that water jelly, lily, not lily actually, waterfish, we have heard about that, Aurelia, jellyfishes, we have heard about the jellyfishes, right? So how the jellyfishes are like? Jellyfishes are like the transparent body. Jellyfishes are like the transparent body. They do not have specific things, or okay, better say, have you seen the sponges? Have you seen the sponges? They have the body, have the like multiple holes only there. Right? We have seen the sponges. So sponges are also multicellular because the body of the sponge is made up of the so many types of number of cells. Okay, but they still have the tissue level. That means they do not reach. यहाँ पे if we try to connect there, here they did form the tissues, but they do not reach at the complication level of the organs. Got it? है ना? So when we talk about the multicellularity, okay, when we talk about the multicellularity, we talk about the two systems. The first is tissue level of organization, such as your jellyfishes. Jellyfishes, like we have the hands, we have the legs for different things, but this is called the tentacles, or better say in the simple word, arms. They are performing the organ, they are performing the locomotion, they are performing the excretion. Still, the multicellularity do not have much more complications. So they are called as a tissue level. Got it? Abhi aa gaya? There's until here. Is there any kind of doubt? Please, guys, tell me. कोई भी doubt है until this topic? Just ask me either to the comment or just wait a minute. Just ask me any kind of doubt is there. Yes. No. Unicellularity do not prokaryote. Unicellularity constitute both prokaryotes in the UF. We will talk about. Don't worry. Yes, Sanya, Shubhashri, and Ashutosh, any kind of doubt still here? I'll just try to explain in a more simple way if there's any kind of doubt. Agar doubt, if you guys do not have doubt, then I'll ask. This class is very communicating, okay? Both, the conversation should be from both sides. I do not come and just talk and just go. I'll make sure that you guys will understand.
No, ma'am.
Yes, Sanya.
Ma'am, you will ask question.
Okay, no question. Subhashri, beta आपके पास any doubt? If you have any kind of doubt or confusion? No. Ashutosh,
Ma'am, you can ask.
I can ask. Okay, I'll do that. Don't worry. Okay. So that means we know that majorly there are two concepts we know. Yeah. So the first concept is the complication level. The first is cell, then there's tissue, then there's an organ, then there's a complete body. This is the first, how the form occur, and the second is how the life actually formed. So the first, because of that specific kind of surrounding, the first simple cell was formed, that was called the prokaryotes. The prokaryotes, all the prokaryotes are the unicellular. Yes, all the prokaryotes are unicellular, as they do not have the capacity, to form at the tissue level. Then the cell become complicated and it is called the eukaryotes. But the eukaryote cell have some kind of a specification, such as mitochondria has a specific function, nucleus has a specific function, chloroplast have a specific function. So they become more complicated and form the tissues. And again they become more complicated and form the organ or the complete body. Got it? So here we got the two concepts. Ab is baat ko we will connect from here. Okay. So now we know the prokaryotes. So but some of the scientists say, what about the prokaryotes? Bacteria are also living. Bacteria are not dead. You know? So then they say, okay, prokaryotes. Yes, got it. Then they said, okay, 3 level kar lete. So what are the 3 level? Prokaryotes, eukaryotes, and eukaryotes mein ho gaye aapke plants and animals. Plants and animals. Still, there was a confusion. What was the confusion? Then some of the scientists just came and they said, no, it's not correct. There should be the 4 level. They said, how? They said, ki if the prokaryotes are the unicellular, then in eukaryotes also there are some unicellular. He said, yes, that's true. So then they divided into 4 sections. Unicellular, and they called unicellular eukaryotes are called protists. Everyone has heard about the paramecium, euglena. Have you heard about? Or amoeba? Of course, amoeba everyone has heard about. Right? Have you heard about the amoeba?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, nice. So amoeba is actually good. Amoeba is actually the not prokaryote. है ना? It is having the multiple things. It having the nucleus, it having the parapodias, it having the food granules. So that is for sure the scientists said that okay, amoeba is one of the organism which is a unicellular. है ना? The cell structure is not like that, but it is like that. है ना? Of course, this is a unicellular, but it is not the bacteria, because we know the prokaryotes or the prokaryotes do not have the specific thing about the nucleus, because this is a simple thing, and to form the nucleus it is a more complication needed. So they said okay, fine. So they all kept into the protistas. So have you heard about that? Okay, so one more question, just one question is there. Everyone has heard about the malaria. Someone has definitely suffered. So malaria is actually, who caused the malaria? Do not say the mosquito, guys, please. Yes. No, not bacteria. No. Okay. So malaria is also actually जो vector है, I mean spreading factor is your mosquito. Spreading factor is your mosquito. Got it? But actually caused by a eukaryote, that is your unicellular eukaryote, that is one of the protozoans. है ना, जैसे कि अमीबा भी आपका, अमीबा is also one of the protozoan. So the name is the plasmodium. The shape is like that. That is also unicellular. Okay, that is also the multiple things, nucleus and so many things. but that cannot kept in the prokaryote. So they said, okay, fine, got it. So what we'll do, we'll keep the 3 division, now 4 division. The first is prokaryotes unicellular, the second is unicellular eukaryote, the third is the plants, and the fourth is the animals. But again, there were so many confusions. They said, okay, wait a minute. The plants and the animals have the complicated level of body, can say the multicellularity, and this is one of course, tomorrow we'll just make the notes. Today we'll just making the concept clear, because I thought because I thought that some of the students are from the non-science background, so because of that, okay. If I'll start about the dictating, it will make so much confusion to you guys, okay. So then they said ki no, there should be the 5 level of classification, and that was the most accepted abhi tak RH Whittaker classification. So what is the difference between the plants and the animals? If you see the plant cell, again, suppose that if you just pick out the root cell, so you'll see the root cell having the double covering. This is one covering, then this is the second covering, and then so many organisms. So outer wall is called the cell wall. This is your PYQ in 2022, 2019, 2020. This is your PYQ. Don't worry, I'll state it, okay? But the animal cell, and this is your cell membrane. Okay, but the animal cell do not have cell wall, do not, okay, but their cell membrane again. Then there is one more thing RH Whittaker said about the fungi. So then they divided everything into 2 things. The 5 system classification is your first, bacteria, or better say the prokaryotes. The second is your protistas. The third is your fungi. The fourth is your plants. And the fifth is your animals. So this is your 5 level of classification given by the RH Whittaker. Now they have said, okay, fine. Now we got it, that actually all the living organism can be classified separately into 5 groups, okay. So this is not only the classification, but this is also the level of evolution. Of life. So the first life formed in on your earth was the prokaryotes. Of course, we know why, because it is the most simplest, and this is a unicellular. So here we can say that, of course, we will write it tomorrow. Don't worry, everything we'll write. So your protistas and your prokaryotes are your unicellular, and other than that, these are your multi. Right? Okay. From here until here, is there any kind of doubt?
No, ma'am.
Thank you, Ashutosh. Tanya and Subhashri, any
No,
kind
ma'am.
of any?
Fungi is also multicellular, ma'am.
Yes, bacha. Fungi is also multi. You know what? If you want to relate with the fungi, everyone has this mushroom. Mushroom, everyone has. Mushroom is an example of fungi.
Yes.
It is also multicellular. Okay. Good. Fungi actually, earlier in that 4th level classification, fungi actually kept under the plants category, है ना? Because of course this is a type of a plant. But when they studied, है ना? So because abhi in that last slide, I think we have just talked about the cell wall. Actually, you know what? The cell wall, the presence of the cell wall is one of the major division or the major basis of the classification of all these 5 kingdoms, है ना? Such as bacteria has different cell wall, protistas has different cell wall. Human, like animals, do not have cell wall. This is your repeatedly question of PYQ. I'll tell you from where the question will come, and I'll ask you from that PYQ also. Don't worry. Okay. So the cell wall is one of the major things. And one of the thing is, what is the basic difference between the plants and animals except the cell wall? Abhi to I just said that. But what is the basic difference about the plants and animals? Anyone? Very basic difference.
Plants produce their own food.
Very good, Sanya. Okay, so plants have the ability to form their own food, है ना? With the process of the form own food.
With
the
photosynthesis.
Very good. With the process of the photosynthesis. But animals, no matter how mature, how complicated, how developed the organism is, it cannot produce their own food. That's why we are dependent. All the animal category are dependent on the plants. Okay, so fungi also have this thing. Of course, that can be kept in the plant category, but they do have the hetero, like they do not have the autotrophic. Actually, now the plant, the thing, there's again word. Of course, I can tell this here. So there's a term called autotrophic. What is the meaning of auto? Do not tell me the convenience wala. What is the meaning of auto? Auto, whenever we talk about autoimmune. Yes, Asu.
Ma'am, self.
Self. Okay, self. Yes, of course. Auto means actually the self. है ना? That means the any kind of organism, like any kind of, such as we say the automobile sector. है ना? Automobile, the auto means anywhere you are seeing that autoimmune system, automobile sector, autotrophic. Auto means होता है self. Okay? Trophic means होता है food. So the plants are actually, if I'm saying in the further classes, if I'll talk about that plants are autotrophic, then of course we meant it that plants can make their own food. What about the animals? It is known as a heterotrophic. They do not have. Actually, trophic word is related with your ecosystem. And don't worry, when we'll cover the ecosystem topic, we'll again talk about the trophic system. Hetero means they are not. Hetero actually means okay, different types. But in the simple sense of the making food, actually, the heterotrophic means they cannot make their own food. So in that making of own food, this is mainly about the process of photosynthesis. The animals or the whole living organism has been classified either into autotrophic or into heterotrophic. So when we talk about the fungi, it has a structural similarity with the plants, but they are the heterotrophic and phototrophic both. But plants are always are autotrophic. So in that tomorrow class, we'll talk about the exception. Okay, we'll talk about the exception. So start writing a little bit. Chalo, write it down. Abhi, is there any kind of confusion, doubt until here?
No, ma'am. Everything is clear.
Thank you, Sanya. Subhashi beta आपको?
No doubt.
आशुतोष बच्चा आपको? चलो. Okay. So here we'll talk about okay. Write it down. Bio ka topic, of course. Write it down. Introduction or the classification, whatever you want. All the living organisms earlier classified mainly into two groups, ऐसे करके लिखेंगे, plants and animals. Plants and animals on the basis of majorly the nutrition mode, and the present and absence of cell wall, and the presence and absence of cell wall. Full stop. Thereafter, various level of classification has done. Thereafter, various level of classification has done for living organisms, but ultimately the five level of classification of living organisms was accepted and justified, which was given slash proposed by the scientist named R.H. Whittaker. Which was given slash proposed by R.H. Whittaker. Full stop. Although after that various other such as six level system write in the bracket, the six level system के बाद write in a bracket, based on cell wall, bracket close, based on cell wall in prokaryotes, better write like that, based on cell wall in prokaryotes, bracket close, was also done but R.H. Whittaker classification was accepted, but R.H. Whittaker classification was mainly accepted till now. I'll tell you why the 6th or 7th level is not much accepted, but in the next class. So tomorrow we'll talk about the basis of the R.H. Whittaker classification further, what are the major basis of that, and of course we'll continue about it. If there is any kind of doubt, that does not mean because this class is ending here, so you can ask me in the class. You can just wherever you'll having the doubt, you can ask me in the next class. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
इतना इंट्रोडक्शन के लिए शायद दूंगा।